Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Hey, Miami Dolphins fans, welcome to another Throwback Thursday, Miami Dolphins Talk, another edition of all things Miami Dolphins. Big fins up to you. I hope your Thursday is having a great day so far. Miami Dolphin fans are still talking about what I just barely touched on yesterday. Everyone's talking about the trade Waddle. And then you get him in the knuckleheads like an Adam Beasley saying trade Tyreek Hill. He obviously doesn't look at the cap hit that will ensue. And this guy gets paid good money to talk about the Miami Dolphins. And write about the Miami Dolphins. So there's crazy takes out there, and Twitter eats them all up and they explode. But here we are a little more realistic. Because I mean, if you wanted to trade Tyreek Hill from to get, it doesn't make sense financially if you look at the numbers. People just throw things out there to hit the win. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Timothy. And Back It Up Ben's podcast. All of you guys, a big welcome into the room this morning. Glad to have you in here. And as far as the Dolphins, still, as I say every day, a lot of work to do. Got to get under that cap. Got to figure out things before March 13th, the new league year, because here we are now, February 22nd, and it is that time to start getting these numbers down. And they will. They will. They will rework contracts. They will release players. They will make some guys post-June. So that's going to be done. But the interesting thing is to see what they do to fix some of the holes on the roster. Limited draft picks yet again. No third, no fourth. Got a lot of work to do there. Not that much money as far as the cap. That's why they have to maneuver it around. And we will see if they sign any new toys to come into the offense and do well. I can understand why some people recommended the Dolphins should trade Jalen Waddle. It would make a lot of sense because he's playing it's right. Yes. I mean, that's their reasoning behind it. And they say the Dolphins have other needs. He's one of the tradable access on the team, but it's just, if you only have Tyreek, then you're really, because we need a third receiver. So then we're going to go down to only one receiver. So I agree, Anthony, that's their reasoning. I just don't think it makes much sense as far as if you want a team to win down. I mean, unless, because Mike Tannenbaum, I call him, but he's Mike Tannenbaum. But he's the one that started out that whole Hornets Nets by mentioning, he would trade Waddle to the Chiefs for the cornerback McDuffie straight up. And that got then everyone else coming up with their own scenarios, like trade him for draft picks, trade him for this. But if you start trading from draft picks, you're basically admitting that we're rebuilding all over again. I just don't see it. It's not sensible. But hey, Lance, good to see you back in here, man. Big fins up. Saw you on the Miss Finn show today. That's awesome. Be safe out there trucking around. Thank you for coming in. To me, Miami is easy to clickbait the meeting. Yes, you're right, Scotty. Well, thank you for that. But you are right. They know anything Tua is going to get hits, and anything Dolphins in general. Tua just puts a nuclear portion into the clicks, and then anyone else. And then you get Tyreek Hill commenting on something, and then people blew up about that because he was saying, why are you guys wanting a trade? Why are Dolphin fans wanting a trade? So it was just crazy again yesterday. But to me, it absolutely makes no sense to trade Waddle for draft picks. Absolutely not, because it defeats the whole purpose. You're up against the cap for a reason, because you're trying to win now. Then you trade him to save money in the future. And then you really pigeonhole yourself. It's crazy talk in my book. To me, that's like saying you're going back again to trading Tunsil away and blowing the whole thing up all over again. So I just don't see any rhyme or reason in that talk. Tannenbaum, Tannenbaum, he gets paid by ESPN to come up with stuff to talk football, and lo and behold, he loves talking about the Dolphins. And I mean, there's a pattern with him. He talks about the Jets because he worked for the Jets. The day before, he talked about Waddle being traded away by the Dolphins. He was talking about that they should go give Russell Wilson, and the Jets should get Russell Wilson to be the quarterback, and even though they have Aaron Rodgers coming back. So he loves to talk about the two teams he used to coach for. He knows both of our fan bases are starved for winning and that we're going to eat it up. And that's what he does. So you're 100% right, Scotty. It is all getting people talking. And Cannibal, he loves getting the Jets and Dolphin fans talking, because he was paid by both of those teams for a while and then shown the door for not being able to put together a winning franchise. So that's it. That's what he does now. He wants attention. I mean, his people on his own set, when he was saying some of the stuff he was saying, especially about Russell Wilson going to the Jets, they're like, do you not realize, do you not know Aaron Rodgers' personality? You really think he's going to want another guy that's come and won a Super Bowl be his backup? He got mad when they drafted a quarterback. You really think his personality is going to want a Russell Wilson who also has a weird personality? So it's just like they throw things out there, and they know some fans are going to eat it up. That's exactly what they do. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get out of his contract. That was a bad trade all around. Let's see what Anthony had, because the Dolphins can't afford to pay receivers nine to a year. It's backfired already, and paying the corners as much. On, I mean, from a standpoint, from money alone, Anthony, yes, but why not? He's just going into his fourth year. They can pick up his fifth year option. The Dolphins don't have the luxury of looking that far down the line, like, oh man, we got such a great winning team. We can trade one piece, build for the future whilst continuing our winning at the same time. Dolphins are in a win now mode in my book. They can't be trading away talent because they're already probably going to lose talent via free agency that they don't have control over. So to me, if you're trading away a guy that's under a team friendly contract, you're really just throwing in the towel, because right now he's on a team friendly contract going into his fourth year, and then they can pick up the fifth year option on him. So technically, you got him for 2 more years without that much effort in putting it out there if you really want to keep him. And that's it. At the end of this year, if it all blows up and then you want to trade Waddle, whatever, okay. But this year, with this, to me, that's them throwing in the towel unless they get a veteran player back. But then that veteran player back better be good, and he's going to want to be paid. So it makes really no sense as far as I'm concerned on that front. But hey, that's what sports talk is for. That's why we enjoy talking about it. But some of those things are just a little out there. Hey, Shake Money, big fins up. I hope it's another day, wonderful day in the Zamuda or Zamunda or something like that. I know Zamuda. I always forget. I know it's something similar. I hope you're doing well, Shake Money. Let's see. Um, to trade Tua, I really don't know on that one. That's a good one. If they were to trade Tua, which of course I know, as you said, hypothetically, but of course it's not going to happen. I'm sure some team out there, but no team jumps to mind that Tua would put over the top right away. Like the Falcons are evidently in the mood, but I don't know if he puts the Falcons any better. So, I know they're in the rumor to get Justin Fields. So I don't know. That's a good one though, Anthony, but I really don't even know. I don't even know what would be a good fit and who he would automatically be better from day one to help that team. He's a good fit with Mike McDaniel here. Mike McDaniel gets the most out of him. So hopefully he just stays here and we figure out somehow to win with him because he is so far going to be playing on his 5th-year option and quite likely maybe going to get that extension, which will set the Dolphins Twitter world exploding. My theory is I've always said this. I ride with the Dolphins. I will call out bad performances and this and that, but I ride with the Dolphins. So if Tua is my quarterback, he's my quarterback. I want him to do the best. I want him to win playoff games, and that's how I roll. So, but I know he's a lightning rod, so I almost don't even like bringing up Tua Anthony because he's such a lightning rod in our fan base and divides our fan base like no one I've ever seen before. It's just crazy what he does. Always seems like they're gonna send the cap most of the loudest when they're saying we can't afford something. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to start hearing moves, give us some direction to focus on. Yes, this is what we need. We need them to start doing that. I don't know. The Dolphins can't worry about what benefits Tua on another team. They just got to worry about keeping him keeping him this year because he's our quarterback going into this year unless something drastic happens, and it would have to be something horrible, basically. I mean, something, as long as he comes in healthy, he's our quarterback next year because this is it. This was supposed to be the year 2023. Things fell apart, as we all know. December didn't go as planned. Whether you want to blame injuries, bad coaching, bad play by Tua, the offense is falling flat overall in general. Who knows? But for whatever reason, this season went south and it stinks. And we all know it. But to me, it doesn't almost make sense to talk about the Tua thing right now because he's our quarterback. Waddle, he's under a team friendly contract. I mean, it really make no sense to move him. It just makes no sense to me at all. But that's why he's tradable asset. I agree. If of all the players on the roster, he's probably the most tradable asset because he's healthy. Him and Jalen Phillips would be in that category. Phillips is hurt. So of all the guys on the roster, probably the most tradable asset that you can get a good return on. And I'm not counting our pending free agents because we have no control once, whether they put a tag on them or something. We have no control. So of the controllable guys we have on the roster, yes, I can see why Tana Bum picked him out of the list because he makes the most sense as far as contractual. But then Adam Beasley tweets out that it would make sense to trade Tyreek Hill. I'm like, come on, Adam Beasley, they're a big time rider. You get paid for do this for his living. Don't just throw junk out there to get. And I know that's what media has become. I understand it. That's what media has become. It's become click here, see what I have to say, and the reasoning I say. I get it. It's all about impressions. Times have changed. It's no longer selling papers on the corners, or in the little news box or delivering to your door. The world has changed. Now it's all about getting the click. And I understand it, but they do love picking on the Dolphins because as Scotty pointed out, Dolphin fans for the most part take it hook, line, and sinker and run hard with it. It's like I was saying yesterday on the show. They put Tua last out of all the 2020 quarterbacks when they asked Spielman, who used to be a general manager for the Dolphins, and they were asked, and he put Tua last. And he knew that was going to create us going crazy. And sure enough, I've seen shows about it. And actually, the great Miss Finns actually taught some of that topic. So when I just knew yesterday when I saw it, I said, oh, here we go again. But hey, being a Dolphin fan, we've been beat down for 2 decades, so I'm used to it. Tannehill was never a top 10. Let's see. I understand Tannehill didn't have a towel, but I'm talking about the quarterback specifically. They know there's a limit they can do with this kid to win in the NFL. This whole scenario, like Ryan Talon thing all over again. We're playing a mediocre quarterback and signing him to an extension because we're too scared to move on from him. And then that's where Scotty comes in. Scotty was never a top 10, top 5 QB. Nice Paris, a conspiracy comparison. Can't speak. Ender, good morning. Fins up to you, Ender. Thank you so much for coming into the show. Yep, no matter how do you slice it, Tua is a top 10 QB. There's at least 15 other teams that would trade. Well, you might be right, but they're going to have to pay him very soon, Timothy. So maybe that's the only reason I'm thinking that they want to get their own young quarterback because he's going to be getting the big money, especially if he's going to be traded. He's going to want the money. And so you're right. There may be teams that would be willing to trade for him, but they better be willing to pay him because that's where the Dolphins are at right now. So that's the only thing that makes me think his trade market won't be as high as we may think because they know they're gonna, it's not like baseball where some of these teams would just take on the guy's salary and this and that, and take a hit on the luxury tax. They know they got certain numbers, and if you take on Tua and you got to pay him the big money without having gotten the use out of him the younger years of his contract, you're paying at a high price. So that's the only thing I think that his market wouldn't be super hot as we may think. But like I say, Tua's shown he can win. He just hasn't shown he can get us over the hump in the playoffs. Granted, it was the first time he played in the playoffs this year, and it happened to be up against the defending Super Bowl champions with an injury depleted roster. I would say that much, but our offense was pretty much healthy for the most part, other than our offensive line changing all the time. And, we had some guys miss here and there, but for the most part, at the end of the season, our team was healthy. They had most of the guys in the Kansas City game. So, but that was his one shot because the previous year we made the playoffs. Skylar Thompson was a pioneer going into the final part of the last season and played in the playoffs against Buffalo. So Skylar Thompson actually had a playoff start before Tua did. So that's how it worked out. So I'm not going to say he can't win a playoff game because he's only been given the one opportunity to win that said playoff game. So is it a good enough sample size? Where I'm concerned is at the end of the season, the whole offense trailed off. Is that because of Tua? Is that because teams figure out some of Mike McDaniel's scheme? Is it because Tyreek Hill was a little bit banged up? Was it because, we had not enough other weapons? I don't know, but our offense production fell as the season went on. Our offensive production fell considerably, and that's a concern for me moving forward and something that they have to fix. And our defense was our starting unit at the end of the season, but now we got a new defensive coordinator. We don't know if we got Wilkins. We don't know if we have Xavier Howard. And, we don't know if when Chubb and Phillips are coming back. We don't, Van Ginkel's probably gone. These are all key contributors that help. Deshaun Elliott, can we keep him? Jerome Baker, probably gone. Or or he takes a rework contract. I don't know. So there's so many questions, all with a new scheme, as mentioned, to start that little rampage of mine. So it's just so many questions entering this year, but we're only on February 22nd, 222. And that is it. That's where we stand. So many questions. That's why it's hard to even get into the draft. I've been starting to write my notes on the draft, but it's really hard to pinpoint our needs per se until we see what the free agents are. Because if we don't sign Wilkins or Ray K. Davis, and all of a sudden defensive tackle moves up that list of needs in a critical spot. It's just you just don't know. And if you do move on from Xavier Howard, cornerback, and I know people would be mad as heck if the Dolphins take a cornerback in the first round. But Xavier leaves. Who's going to play opposite him? Cater Kohu didn't play that well this year. Nick Needham's a free agent. Cam Smith, that's a guy I guess we're banking on. You better hope he's ready in year 2. He only played 25 snaps in year 1. on the defensive side of the field. Played some special teams, of course, but as far as defensive snaps, are you going to count on that young man to step up and be the number two corner opposite Jalen Ramsey? Or are they going to dip their toes in the cornerback market once again? Or edge rusher, as I mentioned, Phillips, Chubb, question marks on them. Good players, but they got question marks on them due to injury. Van Ginkel probably is walking out that door unless they rework him, knowing our edge situation. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL.com and on the NFL Network on Path to the Draft. That guy trying to describe who he is. If you don't know the name, Daniel Jeremiah, he had us taking an edge rusher in his latest mock draft. Again, he has no connection to the team. His mock draft no different than my mock draft, but it shows. And his reasoning is that Van Ginkel might walk, and basically Chubb and Phillips, they're good, but you don't know what their status is right now. And so that was his reasoning and his little talking of points on why he had us taking the edge rusher. I forget who he had us taking, man. It was a kid out of UCLA. Who did it? Sorry, guys. He had us taking Latu. I won't even pronounce his first name because you guys know I butcher names. Latu, that's who they had us taking. I've seen guys having us take receivers. Corners I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen a corner. Oh, I did see someone take the kid out of Iowa. Someone had us in a pick, I think on Walter Football. But again, these people are no different than Scotty, me, Timothy, Lance, Hooked Up Joe, Back It Up Ben's podcast. No different than us running a mock draft and seeing who falls to us. But they had us. So because I was starting to write names, I'm going to try to do a survey on like who keeps on getting mocked to the Dolphins the most and see how it comes to fruition or whether it's really way off the path. The guy I've seen most mocked to the Miami Dolphins is a guy that we will all agree Scotty himself took him. Jackson Powers Johnson. He is up in the teens on how many times I've seen him mock to the Dolphins. I'm not just talking about from people like me, but Axel that has their own like PFN and PFF and all those type things where they have people ranked and that they do this all the time. Let's see sorry guys, I'll be stuck if someone gives a first for just so about the same. Let's see. Last time Chicago wants a second. I guess you're talking about Justin Fields. Scotty, I agree. I think all this would be down a year for tags. Yeah. Yeah, like two is great prospect. Yeah, they say he's the best. I looked him up after Daniel. I like Daniel Jeremiah. Like I say, he's not connected to the Dolphins. I realize that he's not connected to any of the teams. He did work in the NFL in the past, but he's normally one of the regional guys and doesn't just throw crazy stuff out to the wind. So when people say he's like the best, this natural quarterback rusher, as far as just not setting the edge and everything, but just getting to the quarterback, they say he's the most natural of all the edge rushers in this year's draft. I've seen that in a few places around. So who knows? And it could be a fit because once again, we do not know the status of some of our edge guys. And what hopefully, and I really do mean this, that Weaver, if we are going to be picking defensive guys, has a strong say in who we pick, at least give his recommendations. Because if you listen to the rumors, which who knows, there was people, Vic Fangio said, I was never consulted about anyone they wanted to bring in, never worked them out, never anything. Is that true? Or is that just him being a grumpy guy on the way out? Who knows? But I really would hope that they get input from the guy you just made the defensive coordinator if you're going the defensive route in the draft. I still think offensive line may be up in the forefront. But as I said yesterday, any position other than quarterback, now I am saying quarterback, that's the only one that would shock me. Everything else to me is on the table. Hey, what's good, man? Lots of legends around you. thoughts on? I will get to. Let me go see your comments, Anthony. Comments snuck up on me here. See. Hey, Steve Malloy. I didn't see you sneak into the house up there. Steve, big fins up to you. Just because they want to clear a certain part of the fan base instead of paying attention to the whole fan base, it feels like they care more about the entertainment than winning. What else did you say? And then I'll get what's crazy. They're doing this for financial reason. They're going to give this kid 50 million a year. He hasn't proven he's worth top quarterback money. No, you're right. I mean, if they give him that much money, that is insane, and it may very well be doing that. Hopefully, they're not going to just do it for the financial reasons, but it is because winning is the bottom line. That's what you have to do in the NFL. If you don't win, I don't care who you have. Dolphin fans will stop not going to the games as much. It's just you can see it when it happens. They had good run on tickets recently. Because they've gone out to try to win. They brought in Tyreek Hill. Again, you could say that move was just to sell tickets if you want, but they did go out and get them. They went and got Chubb. They went and got Ramsey. They're paying these guys big money. If they were just trying to sell tickets, they would get one or two little big names and I'm going to try to get because no one's really coming out to watch Chubb play. It's I mean, as an edge rusher, most people don't go, "Oh, I'm going to go to the game to see the best edge rusher or Chubb play the game," or I wouldn't go if Chubb wasn't there. So I do believe they're trying to win. This do they know how to win and put together? That's the big difference. I have no doubt they're trying to put a winning team together. Yes, selling tickets, it's okay. But with all the TV revenue that comes in, they're going to be quite fine financially anyway. So they are trying to win. I just sadly, I wish it was that. I just wish they were not, they were only caring about selling tickets. But I truly think they're trying to win and they just can't get over that hump as far as playoff victories. That's my opinion. But hey, like I say, we all have opinions. Some are right, some are wrong. But at the end of the day, there's really no way to prove until your team wins. That's the only proof in the pudding is if your team wins, then you can say, hey, those were good picks. So that's how I look at it. But some good points, Anthony. Yes, I agree. Let's see. I heard too has played more regular season game and won more than Burrow in the last 4 years, but it's probably just clickbait. Has played. Well, I think he has played now in more games. As far as the win loss, we would have to go look it up. But I mean, it's really kind of meaningless because Joe Burrow made it all the way to the Super Bowl and has won playoff games. So if you want to throw that out, so I mean, if it's true, doesn't really matter. But I do believe he's played more game because Burrow missed most of this past season, a lot of it. So I think Tua did pass him in games played. So I mean, I could go to Pro Football Reference and we could find out, or one of us can, that's it. But at the end of the day, Joe Burrow's been in the Super Bowl and we haven't. But again, Joe Burrow was the number one pick of the draft. And unless you gave up the world for him, I don't even know if Cincinnati would have traded that pick because he's an Ohio kid going to Cincinnati, talking about selling tickets because they can be cheap everywhere else. But they know as long as they got Joe Burrow throwing the rock, they're going to get butts in the seats in Cincinnati and eyeballs on the screen. So that's, you could look at it that way. Let's see. The QB market is crazy. No, it is. The QB market is definitely crazy because everyone knows you have to have that guy. Kansas City's proven it now. Kansas City's back-to-back champs. Good chance they can go for a three-peat because they got the guy. They got the man that wins. They got, the best quarterback of our generation as far as this just generation. I mean, I've seen tons of quarterbacks in my years, but I mean, this right now playing today. After Brady, there's Mahomes and it's like two guys that have dominated their sports. And we will see if Mahomes can catch Brady in the Super Bowl. I thought Brady's Super Bowl record was untouchable, and here we are just into it, and we already got a guy with 3. So who knows? And he's young, and so who knows? But you're right, Timothy. Teams want that quarterback. they're saying, Kirk Cousins is going to probably get another huge amount of money because teams just want him. Justin Fields is probably going to get another chance because teams are all starved for a quarterback and they think they can change some of these guys that maybe haven't gotten it done in another spot. So it'd be interesting to see on that front. But yes, it's going to be fun. I'd be interested to see if Kirk Cousins ends up staying with Minnesota. I don't know what Russell Wilson and the Broncos, what they can do. They seem to both want that divorce. And it's just, I don't know. They're stuck with each other for right now. And, it is what it is. A Twitter comment or X comment. What position the Dolphins to get in the first round? Because I don't know what to get. No, it's risky. We would know better after all this free agency period. But right now, there's really not one position outside of quarterback that I wouldn't say is on the table. Because cornerback, defensive, now linebacker in the first round, I don't see any linebacker in this draft that to me is worth that 21st pick. That would be in the Dolphins range. I don't see it. Second round, maybe linebacker. First round, though, if I had to bet right now, either offensive line. Offensive line is really, to me, for one thing, it's a safer pick for a lot of these guys, especially if you get a Jackson Powers, if he falls, if he comes, Jackson Powers Johnson. I always want to take out half his name. Jackson Powers Johnson. He would be like, the prime pick, offensive line, center, day one starter without a doubt. Whether he'd be good or not, then of course there's doubt, but he would be the day one starter without a doubt. But to me, no linebackers jumps out. Quarterback is off the table. Receivers are reached, even though I know some teams have us saying some people have us taking a receiver. To me, it basically offensive line is where I'm really pigeonholing myself. Maybe corner would make a lot of fans mad, or an edge guy because we have uncertain status along the edge. And we will see there. But we also may need to have to take someone in the interior defensive lineman higher than what we think if we lose the guys we're talking about. So, yeah, I agree, Abba. OL. Yeah, OL for sure is the. Hold on, guys. My dog wants my attention. See, there he is. I'm gonna put him over here. Good boy. All right, sorry. But yes, we. Oh, Franklin Stubbs, I didn't see you come into the house. Big fins up to you. Thank you. Hey, you might be right. 10 years from now, we may start seeing quarterbacks that make 100 million a year. We're up into the 50s. So, hey, I wouldn't laugh anything off. So, as insane as you may think, but money keeps on going up. That's for sure. Denver's cheapest way out of Wilson's contract is a post June fund, taking 35 million dead cap hit this year, which Tampa did with Brady. So not unheard of, but 50 million dead cap next year. That is unheard of. Yeah, it is nuts. They gave up a lot of picks for him. They gave up money for him, and he's been basically nothing but. He hasn't even been that bad, but for what you gave up for him, he's not that guy. He's not the guy that turned your franchise around like you thought he was going to do. They thought they were going to have like a Peyton Manning 2.0, a guy that won a Super Bowl on his previous team, then come over and then win and just be ready to get the team to that next level. They missed on that front, wholeheartedly missed on that front. If that was their envision of their team, Sean Payton and him don't rumor. Like I say, I don't know. They're not calling me to say how they get along, but supposedly they're not the best of friends, and that's why they want to move on from him. So we will see. I know, man. It's going to definitely go down as one of the worst trades. Just like way back when Jimmy Johnson traded got all that return for Herschel Walker. So it's just crazy some of these trades that these teams do, and when you get desperate. Look at Cleveland. They gave up a lot for Deshaun Watson, gave him tons of money, and the man hardly played. And when he's played, he's been meh. Joe Flacco got him to the playoffs, basically, probably just doing as well as Deshaun Watson. So you just never know. And I know there's a lot of Dolphin fans that wanted Deshaun Watson. Watson. I understand that there may be even some in this room that were on that. I never wanted him. I was on record saying I did not want him. And I hated all the talk about it. And that was before all the rumors came out about his personal junk off the field, which we don't get onto here, but you all know, everyone sees the news. That's even before I knew all the totality of that. I was just saying, what do we see in him? So it's on the number of picks that they were talking about, like 2 first, maybe 3 first. People were saying, I'm like, I don't know. He's good. He's won a playoff game here and there, but 3 first for this guy. And sure enough, he ended up getting moved to the Browns. I don't know exactly what they gave up for him, but they gave up a lot. They're still a good team, so I understand their reasoning. They thought he would really be the guy to put them over the top, but even without him, they made the playoffs this year with Joe Flacco. So we'll see. One. I guess moving forward, though, he's their quarterback because he's got all that guaranteed money. Let's see. Was the change NFL content one can't be in the market? What's to be acknowledged that Mahomes is a generation, other Chiefs going to be making more. I mean, yes, I agree with that. But agents, and that's just how it goes. Mahomes is going to set the market, and it's just everyone else wants to try to get in there. But I agree with you. No one should be paid more than him unless they start winning freaking Super Bowls. Then guess what? All right, then you get paid too. So, but agents are going to at least get that and get the most out of their quarterback client as possible because that's going rate. Joe Burrow got a bag of money, Herbert's got a bag of money, and they're gonna all Daniel Jones freaking got a lot of money. So that's just a crazy amount of money that these guys are seeking. And and Tua's not going to take a discount. He has no reason to take a discount. And if the Dolphins can't reach his numbers, then he will have to play on the 5th-year option. And we will see moving forward on that front. It's going to be interesting. So let's see. So Raphael Courtwright says he wanted Deshaun Watson, and he won then to. I hear you, Raphael. I understand the frustration. But Watson, I was never that high on. And he's good. He's probably better than I give him credit for, but I don't know. I was just never that big on that, especially when you got a young Tua and you didn't even know 100% what you had, and all those rumors came out. To me, I'm just like, oh my god, let the kid see what he can do. We talked about for over a year, tank for Tua, give him a chance before you burn him with the, burn him down, burn that bridge. But anyway, I understand the frustration and I get it. But Deshaun Watson to me was never that guy. He can make me eat my words and go lead Cleveland to a big Super Bowl. But to me, I don't know how much of his heart's in the game. We will see on that part. Let's see. Rooski237, big fence up to you for coming in here on YouTube. Though I fear Rams might get JPJ because he's releasing the veteran center. So now I want to get him and draft maybe a DT in the first one. Hey, good point, man. I do see more and more directions saying that Powers is going to be gone. Jackson Powers is going to be gone. And I was, you know what, Scotty? Actually, I've seen Frazier. I think actually Daniel Jeremiah I think he mocked him in the first round. So you heard guys getting play. I don't know if he would really go that high, but I actually seen Frazier mocked in the first round because that's like my fallback center. And then, like you said, this Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia. Those are the only ones that are worthy of first or second round picks. And it's insane that Frazier may go. I don't know if he would really go that high, but let me see. I don't want to give you fake news, but I think I saw Let's see. Where did I see it? I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking down at the screen for a minute. Yeah, they have the Lions taking Zach Frazier. That's Daniel Jeremiah. Not connected. Always my disclaimer, but I do like looking at these guys that have more information at their fingertips than I have. Not that they, you know, getting calls from the general managers, but they have the Lions taking Zach Frazier at 29th, Daniel Jeremiah. And the reasoning are the Lions starting guards are scheduled to reach free agency this season, and this feels like Dan Campbell's type of player. Frazier was a state champion wrestler in high school, could step in right in at guard, and eventually move to center. So there you go. You got to he listed him as an interior offensive line. So you have Zach Frazier going off the board at 29. So that's his reasoning. Let me see the exact reason that he has us taken. Uh, that tool would give the Dolphins three outstanding pass rushers with Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips already in place. Okay, so he doesn't mention their injury. He just says, keep in mind, Miami could lose Andrew Van Ginkel in free agency. So that's his reasoning. Again, once again, it's just a mock draft meant for fun, meant for us to talk about. But it's funny, Scotty, that your guy went way up there in the first round, and his guy, hey, Dolfan Don and Cap for Life. Big fins up to you guys coming in here on this Throwback Thursday. Always a pleasure to have you teammates in here. G-Man, I wanted Tua to work out once he actually drafted him, but doesn't look like Tua is the answer either. So keep pulling the trigger and draft another. You're right, G-Man, but it would have to be later picks because I just can't see it. Hey, good morning, Bobby. Big fins up to you. Thank you. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. So looking forward to it, Bobby, and Saturday. And that is awesome. Guys, just a quick reminder, if you got a couple bucks to spare, you can click the link in my description of this video today. All money goes to the challenge cancer event to fight cancer that the Miami Dolphins are hosting this weekend. If you can't, no worries. If you can, big thumbs up to you, and you all rock, and big thumbs up to you. Even if you can't, I understand budgets, but it will be fun to see Bobby out there this week. Let's see. Cap says Dave Hyde, Chris Perkins, Adam Lee, and Barry Jackson all telling you buyer beware. Yeah. Well, Adam Beasley, though, is a little out there, man. Adam Beasley, like I said, when he starts saying trade Tyreek Hill, I can understand his reasoning because he thinks you can get something. But when you go to the numbers, people that follow the cap and stuff are saying, yeah, if we're really going to take that kind of hit on a Tyreek Hill trade. So Ty G, safety from West Virginia, is also quietly climbing the boards. Scotty, there's one thing I can count on. I know your scouting reports from West Virginia, your favorite university. I trust your takes because you were telling me about Frazier last year before he was even draft eligible. You've been telling me about Frazier being a good center. You since said that you will take Jackson Powers ahead of him, but that Frazier's right there next to him. And lo and behold, Daniel Jeremiah has Frazier going in the first round. So other people are sharing your love for your West Virginia people. So it's very interesting to see on that front. And like I say, linebackers a need for the Dolphins, but to me, I just don't see anyone in the first round that jumps off and says, "Take me in the first round." I just don't. And maybe I'm a little bit shy after the Channing Tindall. He was a third round pick, big difference in first round pick, but just not getting guys on the field. Of course, Cam Smith couldn't get on the field last year at corner, so it is just really interesting. But we have to find out what's going to happen in free agency first, and who we're able to retain out of our own before we really know what the biggest need is. Let's see, G-Man, you should draft a QB. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, yeah, no way, Phoenix, and I don't want to make. I'm gonna make sure I don't say the name wrong. Phoenix. Um, No way for me too. If you're gonna say like Tua has an injury history and yah, why are fans calling for him? It makes absolutely zero sense on that front. Now, in other quarterbacks, yes. If like some crazy, scenario in the future we draft a quarterback, of course, but Penix is not the guy at this point in the draft. Now, if he falls way off the board because of all that injury history and he's sitting there in a later round, which we don't have many later round picks because he's not going to fall that far to like the fifth round, then yeah, jump on him. But we're a team limited of picks and we're a team that's supposed to win now. We have, like I said, we got 6 draft picks, but only 2 of them, I will put them up there again. So this is where we stand as we stand right now. We got the first pick, the second pick. Then you go basically 100 picks before we pick again. And then we got the fifth, 2, 6, and a seventh. The fifth, maybe, but by the time let's face it, by the time you get into the fifth, the sixth, by the time you get into the fourth, you're starting it's more of a crapshoot. But you can nail. We got A Chain, whatever you want to call him. The kid came out and balled when he was healthy. So you can pick up talents that can contribute right away. Don't get me wrong, but it just becomes more and more odds against you the later you go into the rounds historically. But there's also examples, just ask the New England Patriots. You can find a stud in the 6th round that goes and just going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer that has more Super Bowl wins than anyone currently. Mahomes may catch him, but currently he has. So you can find gems, but those are more rare than common. So those first 2 picks of the Miami Dolphins are vital. I'm telling you, if they don't have guys that are starters, or you could say, I could say starters, because if you're in a corner or you're an edge, starter may just be a rotational thing and you may get more snaps. But if you're like in a position, you better be a contributor. Those first 2 picks better be on the field contributing to the Miami Dolphins winning football games, or this draft is a failure. And and it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to hit on 2 picks. And Greer needs to hit on 2 picks this year to keep this Dolphins team afloat. Not only does it get good talent on the team, it gets cheap. And I say cheap in quotations because we would all love to be paid that cheap money. But you know what I mean? It's just, relatively speaking, in NFL terms, you get cheap contracts when you bring these rookies into the fold. And if they contribute, even more power to you. So that's how I look at it. The parts of it, Scotty. Yeah, Scott, I can answer for Scotty. He is a draft guy. He helped our channel last year, and he's talked draft all the time. So he is definitely Scotty, a draft guy. Troy, find you any good? And yeah, I think he actually Scotty's a regular, so I know he likes Troy Botanu. I think he's actually had him mocked to us a couple times. So Scotty, if you're still in the house, ABA has a question for you, Scotty. If the Dolphins get a 3rd round pick, that'd be number 1 because there's so many. I know. I just wish we had the 3rd round pick, guys. If you watch my show and you know the reason we don't have a 3rd round pick, but it's for the tampering. The 4th round pick we don't have because it's a final remnants of the Chubb trade. So that's where we stand. We don't have any compensatory picks in those rounds in that range. So it is what it is. Maybe this year we would have next year's draft, we would have compensatory picks because we may lose more talent than we bring on, depending on the contract status. So who knows? Yeah. Abba or ABAB. Scotty answers you. He says, I'm a huge draft guy. Fonte is my favorite player in the draft. He can absolutely play left tackle. He is the number 1 player in the draft. Play him at left guard next to Armstead, then move him over. So there you go, Abba. Big affirmative on what he thinks. And I hate saying the last names because I screwed them up, but I will stick with Troy. Uh, oh, whatever. Pontanu, whatever. But you get the point. He plays football in Washington, and I probably screwed up his name, but you get it. So there you go. Scotty's very high, and I know a lot of people are very high on him. I know Joe Ott out of Notre Dame seems to be like most people's number one, and then you got some other names in there as well too. Kid out of Alabama. You got a lot of tackles that could go. I've seen some people have like 8 offensive line, and if you count Frazier and Jackson Powers, I've seen as many as 10 offensive linemen mocked in NFL drafts on a regular basis. And it's just so this could be a very heavy offensive line draft right out of the gates after those first few quarterbacks go. There's some good edge rushers out there too. So there's talent in this year's draft. This is a sucky year not to have a third and a fourth round pick, and it is what it is. I mean, the fourth round pick for Chubb was part of we gave up a first and fourth was part of that package, and he's hurt. It stinks, but he was starting to perform. But he's gone. Third round pick for tampering, nothing for it. You don't even have nothing to show for it. And it's really that's why it hurts, especially if Chubb being out, you have no third and no fourth. And the reason you have those you nothing, no benefit back from it. Because at least if it was like Chubb was healthy, you can say, well, at least the fourth round pick went to get Chubb and he's healthy, but he may not be back to late until we hit like October, November. Who knows when he will be able to make a full recovery, be healthy football wise. So hopefully he does it. Jalen Ramsey comes back way quicker than anyone's anticipating. Same for Jalen Phillips. And there'll be a little good news on Miami Dolphins front. But it just stinks when a couple of the guys you have under contract are already injured, entering a new season. It's really rough. Hey, Sea Devil, big fins up to you. Thank you for finding the channel. I think you're new to the room, so big thumbs up and fins up. Thank you for finding Dolphins Thirsty. Sea Devil, Rams are getting rid of they're all pro center. I want him, and we can work from there. That's from Brewski, Sea Devil. Let's see. This I thought before first, but I go center is if we sign. So you're saying if we re-sign Kendall Lamb, you're going center because you find we're good enough there. Hey, I agree on that too. I just do believe we still need because we don't even know what Hunt is going to do. If Hunt leaves free agency, then the alarms really start to sound that we need to draft because I don't know who we're going to bring in as a free agent if we can't sign Hunt. Theory would say then it's going to be someone that's less than Hunt to be able to fill that void, unless you just find a veteran that's willing to take a 1-year contract or something like that. But I kind of want Hunt because Hunt would bring cohesion on the right side, man. You already got Austin Jackson signed to an extension. You get Hunt signed, your right side of the line, barring injury, is set for the next next couple years at least until people start hopefully outplaying their contract. But you're set there for the next couple of years. Then you just got to start working your way over. I would love to see Connor Williams back, but unfortunately, he's injured and he's a free agent. So it's 2 unknowns on the Connor Williams front. Left guard is definitely a spot that a rookie could come in and start right away. If how the roster stands right now, left tackle is a question mark just from injury standpoint that Teron Armstead can't stay healthy throughout his career. He's never played a complete season. He's a baller when he's out there. He plays through various injuries. I mean, when he is out there, but let's face it, you're not going to count on him on a 17-game season and then be healthy into the playoffs and hopefully to the Super Bowl one day. It's just not going to happen. So to me, you got to start looking for that replacement now and be ready to pounce now. That's how I look at it. But it's always fun to talk about the Dolphins. Even if the best team around him possible, I still think Tua is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Defenses know how to stop him. Well, I don't know, G man, because I can't argue with you because we haven't even won a playoff game in 20 something years. So until I see proof in the pudding, it's hard to argue on that front, G man. I agree on that statement. G man Burrow didn't have a good old line and still went to the Super Bowl. Yes, he did. Burrow did have that miraculous year, got there, and that's the big difference, though. He's got to the Super Bowl. That's why I don't care about their winning and losing record during the regular season as starters. Burrow's gotten to the big dance, won some playoff games, lost the big dance. We all know it was a very close game against the Rams. Some people think it was rigged at the end because they would call penalty until the Rams won, basically. But I'm not into all that conspiracy, but I know that's how close. I'm just trying to make a point that it was very close to the Bengals. And Joe Burrow raising the Lombardi, excuse me, it was very close to the Bengals raising the Lombardi trophy when they played the Rams. That's how close it was. So I'm not going to knock that from him, but it's a fair criticism now to say he misses time. If you're going to say Tua misses time, it is a fair criticism to say Burrow misses time. But as far as their on-field accomplishments, Burrow is ahead because the man's played in the Super Bowl and won playoff games. So as far as on-field accomplishments, when they're both healthy, Burrow is ahead of Tua. But you can't give Tua a knock for being injured and not knock Burrow for being injured because then that's not fair. And we are fair here on Dolphins Thirsty. Just saying because Burrow does get injured, but yes, he's been to a Super Bowl. So yes, his on-field accomplishments are higher. C Devil says McDaniel's offense has not been figured out. I agree on that to the extent that it did fall, but I don't think it was because it was more figured out. I just think Tyreek Hill was a little banged up towards the end of the season. Still put up good numbers, but he just wasn't quite the Tyreek we were seeing earlier in the season. He was dealing with ankle injuries a lot. Waddle was pretty consistent, but overall, it's just I don't know, the whole flow. Maybe it's because we played better defenses. Who knows? But yes, the offense fell off at the end of the year. There's no denying that. But I don't think it's because Mike McDaniel's offense per se was figured out. I just think we just didn't get it done. Whether you want to say it's the offense, whether the defenses against us stepped up, who knows? But I agree. I'm not one to say they really figured it out. It's just fell flat. And maybe you can put that on Tua's shoulders. So I don't know. That's the great unknown, the great mystery that the Dolphins have to solve moving forward into the 2024 NFL season. Because before you know it, it's going to be time again. And we're going to have to see where we step up. Because we're already in February. New league year starts in March 13th. Then in April is the draft. What is it? April 25th is the draft. Then you got OTAs and mini camps, and before you know it, we're talking Dolphins football again. We talk Dolphins football here all off season, but the fact is that there'd be even more and more to talk about as the months proceed. Because right after the draft is sometimes slow, and this time's kind of slow until the teams start moving off their salary cap numbers, and you kind of have a better vision of what they see with the roster. Hey, Dolfan Don, big fins up to you. Thank you, as always, a regular. Raphael Courtwright, as always, if I didn't thank you this morning, thank you for coming in again. I don't know who's saying Tua's great or McDaniel's a genius. I've never said that, G-Man, but I do say, for one, I've never definitely said Tua's not great. I've said many and multiple times he's good, but not great. And I don't know if someone else in chat you're talking to, G-Man, but it's fine. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, I've said a million times on here, Tua is good, but not great. And that's the dilemma that the Dolphins are in. Do you pay a good quarterback that much money, or do you just save it for a great and keep on looking until you find a great quarterback? That's to me the dilemma we're in. And great is very just like elite and great, those words get thrown around a lot. So I agree with you on that take, but I've never said Tua is great. He's good, but not great. And then as far as Mike McDaniel, I still think he's a good coach. Will I put him at his genius status? No, I think that word gets thrown around with coaches. People said Adam Gase was a genius and all that. But do I have faith that Mike McDaniel can build a solid offensive structure, work with defensive coaches, be more of the overseer, and have a chance for our Dolphins to win? Yes, I do believe McDaniel can lead us to playoff wins. He's gotten us through the playoffs 2 years in a row. Yes, with a talented roster. I get that. But I do believe he is a guy that you can win playoff games with. So, but genius, like I say, that word's another word that gets thrown around a lot as well. So I don't know, G man. I just want the same thing you want. At the end of the day, I want the Dolphins to win. Oh, CB, I didn't even see him come in. CB83. If you snuck into the room, I see Shake Money saying hi. So big fins up to you. Thank you for coming in. And one day we really got to do a show together. We say it all the time and we never make it happen. Oh, there he is. Ralph. Hey, Ralph. He's in. Don. Oh, yeah, he did sneak in there. So big guys, if you don't already, check him out. Finn's Take with CB83. Always good stuff. Good show to watch. Check him out. Bringing good Miami Dolphins talk all the time. And he is also pretty much rational. He's not going to throw someone under the bus just to throw them under the bus. He's not going to put them on top of the bus saying they're the greatest thing in the world. If they're not the greatest thing in the world, he's just going to call it like he sees it. And that's why I like his show. And it's just how he rolls. Shake Money, guys. You can find him on the Fins Tailgate. He is one of the calm and rational guys on the Fins Tailgate. Even though his name's Shake, but he sometimes maybe shake things up. But he is really fun, cool, calm, collective on the Fins Tailgate. So make sure you check him out. Yeah, I know it gets a little wild, but hey, it's all in fun. I agree, man. And the one thing that Steve Malloy, if he's still in here, like he always says, the one thing we always agree is we want the Dolphins to win. We may not agree with how they're getting to where they're doing, but we do agree that we all want the Dolphins to win. And the best way for the Dolphins to shut all of our whining and complaining is to win. Because I doubt very few fans in Kansas City are complaining much right now about their team. So winning shuts a lot of complaints up. So until the Dolphins start winning, at least some playoff games, there are going to be people complaining. And it's understandable. It's understandable. You want to go to the same restaurant 10 times. If that sucked every time you went, it's basically on you at that point, you know. But with the Dolphins, we keep on going back to because it's just our passion. We love them. We keep on expecting better results. They keep on giving us the same results at the end of the season for 2+ decades of no playoff wins. But, if they want us to not complain and whine, just go out and win damn football games. And you know what? We know, who knows? Dolphins Twitter would probably find a way to complain after winning a Super Bowl, and I'd probably be like, oh, well, I thought that would end it. They were probably saying, well, we should have won that Super Bowl by 21 points. We got lucky at the end, So that's just how some Dolphin fans, but I would think 95% of Dolphin fans would be happy after winning. But, it's just, you're never going to please everyone and never going to please everyone. You could give someone a brand new car, then they find out they still got to pay for the tags and taxes on it, and they're still complaining. So you're never going to make everyone happy. But for the most part, winning would make fans happy, and they're going to complain less. And that's what we need for our Miami Dolphins to do. They're going to complain until we win. And that's it, and that's it. I mean, I'm frustrated. I try to be as much Homer as I can be because I am. I don't ever pretend to be a journalism. I don't pretend to be a professional podcaster, reporter. I'm just a Miami Dolphins fan talking to fellow Miami Dolphin fans. I do it for fun, and I like it, and that's how I roll. Because end of the day, it's entertainment. It's no different than watching a movie. It's for entertainment purposes. This one makes us painful because you want them to win. Because ever since youth ball, the minute they start keeping score, because the first few years you play like baseball, they don't even keep score. It's like, oh, everyone wins, everyone hits. But the minute people start keeping score in youth baseball, you see the change in the parents and people yelling at the umpire, yelling at the coaches. I'm like, guys, it's youth baseball. And I went through it. Both of my kids played baseball, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So, it's funny. The minute you start keeping score, people want to win. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's just entertainment. It's a game at the end of the day. And all we can do is hope our team eventually wins, because we know we do. We put our energy into it. Dolphins winning Super Bowl is like the same lottery number for decades and not winning yet. Keep betting the same numbers. Hey, but you know what, Raphael? The one time you don't bet those same numbers, the time it would win. I don't play the lottery enough, but that'd be my luck. It'd be like I would play the same numbers every week, or however many times the lottery is per week. And then I would play it, and then feel like one day, oh, I'm not going today. I'm tired. And then I see my numbers pop up. That'd be my luck. That's why I don't stick with any one set of numbers, because that'd be so Rob Dolphins thirsty. My numbers would come up the one day I don't play them in a 10-year period. And that'd be how it goes. So I never stick with the same numbers for that reason alone, because it'd be willing to just like, I give up. But anyway, hey, if you got lucky numbers, though, stick with them, Ralphie. Stick with those numbers. Yeah, me either, Ralphie, really. I will buy the occasional scratch ticket for gifts and by myself, and I just feel like I do it more for the entertainment and the hope, just to do a little scratch ticket. But as far as playing the lotto every week or night, as far as getting numbers, no, I do not. So but if that would be my luck if I did. That's why I would never stick with set numbers, because for sure, the one week I don't do it, it'd be the number those come in. I'm sure there's probably stories out there, at least people claim that's what happened, but that wouldn't happen for me. Anyway, I am just about out of time, guys. I appreciate it. You guys make this fun. You find me at 10 a.m. on a Thursday morning when there's 10,000 other things you can be doing. I appreciate it. And don't ever think for a second I do not. If you haven't done so already, throw a damn Marino laser pass at the thumbs up button. It's free. It helps the channel grow. And I could be up to the status of CB83 and shake money before. All kidding aside, I just look at his teammates do this for fun, but those are two big boys in the house. Those are guys with big, good numbers. Same with Miss Fins and a whole bunch of other great content. Fins Talk Sports Network, which I'm part of. And guys, if you like baseball, I will be on the Fins Talk Sports Network tomorrow morning on this very same time, 10 a.m., talking baseball. Tomorrow we're going to do baseball predictions for the 2024 season, such as MVP, Cy Young, division winners, and all of that kind of fun stuff. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming in here every single day, letting me talk Dolphins. And so, in other words, that's my long way of saying I won't be doing this show tomorrow, but I will be talking baseball tomorrow and walking in the Dolphins Cancer Challenge Cancer event Saturday. And then I'm going to Fort Myers on Sunday to watch baseball, spring training baseball. So looking forward to a fun weekend. Thank you, guys. See you soon. I got to look down and find that closeout video. There it goes. Finding the closeout video. You guys rock. See you soon. Have a great weekend, since I won't be seeing you guys tomorrow unless you come talk baseball. See you on Monday.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you want to know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost